Om Shanti. Today in Amrit Vela, I just had this thought that awareness is so important. Now you see, sugar is sweet, but if you don't have the awareness, the knowledge, the experience that sugar is sweet, you cannot use it. And when you know that this is the quality of sugar, you can make so many things out of it. You can use it for whatever you want. You can fulfill your aim with it. Similarly, I, the soul, am very powerful. There are so many qualities, so many powers which are inherent to the soul. But because we don't have the awareness, the knowledge, until Baba comes, we are not able to harness that potential. And even when Baba comes and gives us the awareness, individually we have to see how much we develop that awareness through churning, through reflection on points of knowledge, how much we internalize that awareness, how much we harness the power inherent in that awareness. In today's Murli, Baba says that when any scripture starts, when there is a beginning of any scripture, then in the beginning the scripture is very small, but then people keep adding to it. If you read about the Gita also, the original Gita that Wastage ji wrote was very limited, had very limited number of verses. But then over time, the students, the descendants, they kept adding to it. And then it became voluminous. And Baba today says that if you think about Gyan also, you can just keep expanding on Gyan. Yes, and these days, so it's very, very easy to take a point and keep expanding on it. So we can do that. But then, and we have to do that because until it fills our whole awareness, how will we take the full import of it? But then Baba says you have to expand every point. You have to go into its explanation and description and expansion. But ultimately, you have to again come to the awareness of the essence of that point. You have to become an embodiment of the essence of that point. So let's take the example of peace. So giving a lecture on the quality of peace and how peace feels like and looks like, and what is that peace is the original nature of the soul and the nature of the home of souls, and that's the nature of the father of souls. All that is fine. But being peaceful is totally another thing. So, Baba today says that one is coming, expanding the point and filling your buddhi with it. But the next thing is coming to the essence of the point. And you see, it's very interesting that when Baba comes, our buddhi is in great expansion. So we think so many thoughts in 1 minute. Our minds, our buddhis, they are all over the place. And then Baba has to give us a lot of gyan, lot of, entertaining gyan, so that our buddhi starts taking entertainment out of it. Because when Baba comes, if he just says, remember me, that's it, you are a soul, then we would not be able to do it. So Baba gives us the knowledge of the 84 births and so many things to churn on, and so many qualities to churn on, so many aims and goals to churn on. He talks about Satyug, he talks about the soul world. So we have to fill that, that sanskar of expansion in the buddhi with expansion of gyan. But then ultimately what we have to do is, we have to come to the essence of man manabhav. So the essence is, I am a soul and mine is one Baba and none other. So that deep knowing, that deep experience of I the soul belongs to Baba, that's it. That comes after all this expansion takes place. Because, just like psychology, they say that negative thoughts are very fast and more in number. That's the quality of negative thoughts. But positive thoughts are slower and fewer in number. Similarly, if you expand on the information of the old world, then it takes your mind and buddhi into the opposite of concentration. It just scatters it. And if you expand if you fill your man and buddhi with the expansion of gyan, then your man and buddhi come to convergence. They become essenseful. That's the quality of gyan. So one scatters the man and buddhi, the knowledge of the old world, it scatters the man and buddhi, and this brings the man and buddhi into concentration. So this is why Baba says that first there is expansion of knowledge. So every day murli, every day manthan, too much knowledge you take. And then you ultimately come to essence. That's the whole point. And in the murli today, Baba says, don't waste your time. And in the murli, Baba says, don't waste your money. So today Baba is talking about time and money. And time and thought are related. So let's take time, thought and money. And why Baba says don't waste your time, thought and money? Because this is the only time when you can put it to good use. You have the opportunity to put it to good use. Yes? Earlier, when you were not in Gyan, if somebody told you don't waste your time, the question would be, what else would I do? So people pass time because they don't know what to do with the time. There is one sister, she is in Gyan and it's been 4-5 years. And one day I was talking to her and She almost had tears of gratitude in her eyes. And she said, I am so thankful to Baba. And then she said, Didi, we didn't know anything. And I really feel, in this world, there is so much ignorance. And she said, we didn't know when to wake up. And even if somebody woke up early, so you see, there are people in the world, if not 4, they wake up at 5, not a problem. But even if we knew when to wake up, we didn't know what to do. And somebody who wakes up at 5, what does he do? Picks the newspaper and fills his mind with rubbish. So Baba teaches us so many things. Baba teaches us when to wake up, what to do, how to think, how to use your time, how to use your thought, which is exemplary, because in the world, people really don't know what to do with their time and thought. And here Baba teaches us how to remember Baba, how to remember our home, how to remember the new world. So Baba says, don't waste your time in eating, drinking and sleeping. Yes, and in this new age, actually old age, but then new age as the people say, there are 100 methods, 100 new methods of wasting time. Yes, but when Baba spoke the Murli, the only methods were eating, drinking and sleeping. But these days people are not even sleeping because they have a better way to waste their time. So that's another story. But to talk about eating, drinking and sleeping, let me tell you, there was one brother and he told me, he's a Baba ka bacha, and then he told me that, Didi, I want to be in Seva. And I saw him in Seva for some days. I observed him. And you know what he used to do? He would make his tea. And to make that tea, he would peel ginger for 10 minutes. Full 10 minutes he would be peeling the ginger. And then half an hour he would make his tea. And another 1 hour he'll keep sipping it. And then you give him any task, a little, just sweeping the classroom, he will take 2 hours doing that. And when he would eat, he would be so slow in eating, full 1.5 hour for lunch, full 1.5 hour for dinner. And if you ask him to cook, that cooking would take like endlessly, like he would be cooking for 5 hours, and what he would make at the end is 1 roti, 1 sabji. So I used to tell him, you know what, if you and sleeping, there is no boundary to his sleeping. He would sleep in the night, sleep in the afternoon, all the time he would sleep. And then I used to tell him, if you just ate, drank and slept, you could actually consume your whole 24 hours. You are so good at it. Yes, so I totally understand what Baba is saying today. And that brother, he didn't do anything wasteful. Let me tell you that also. He didn't watch anything. He didn't waste his time in anything. He would just eat, drink and sleep and consume all his 24 hours in that. And it was marvelous. I never saw such an amazing, creation of nature earlier. And this is why I understand what Baba is saying in the Murli today. Because, these days, it is mostly about other things in which people waste their time. So people, and mostly the phone and I was just wondering the other day, these post-COVID, what I have seen is even children who come to the center, they don't have the concentration or the sanskar of continuity and discipline to come at a prefixed time every day and listen to the course or the murli. Because in these 2 years, while there was this COVID condition, this watching of the phone has increased too much. And all the faculties of the soul are in bad shape. So the buddhi cannot concentrate, there is no understanding, there is no capacity for, sitting in peace or in happiness or churning something. All that is lost. It is really in bad shape. What I have observed in these past 2-3 months post-COVID. So from this I can understand that people have really wasted their time and thought in this, on the smartphone especially. And when you waste something, then what happens is it doesn't serve you anymore. So, when you waste something, your relationship with that thing goes bad, and then it doesn't come to your utility. So you cannot derive benefit out of it anymore. So, if you have wasted a lot of your time and thought, then your thoughts and your time will not serve you well in future. That burden of wastage of time will ensure that in future also your time is wasted. Or if you have wasted a lot of your thought, then you want your thoughts to bring you peace, you want your mind to be your friend. It is going to be very, very difficult. So this is the thing with wastage. So, wastage creates a karmic burden, and that karmic burden doesn't allow you to do anything good out of that resource anymore. And Baba usually uses this word grahachari. Grahachari is a condition when your resources, your circumstances, nothing is helping you. It doesn't come to your support, and that happens with the weight of wastage and negative karma. And so Baba today warns us against this wastage of time and thought. And we must heed this warning, because what I see today is there is a lot of wastage. There are numerous ways in which we are wasting our time and thought, and patterns of thoughts that we are creating and habits that we use to spend our time in. So we are into habits of wasting time, habits of engaging in activities that are wasting time, and we have thought patterns that are very antagonistic to our self progress. So don't create habits of wasting time. Don't create habits of engaging in activities that are a waste of time. Don't create thought patterns which will be very difficult to break if you are always wasting your thought. And I think, so if now the question arises, what if you are already in that condition, in that grahachari where, you have already wasted a lot of time and thought, and then you are in that place where you are not able to come out of it. So In today's Murli, Baba gives us a very good slogan. Baba says, in order to attain success in your thoughts, continue to fly with the power of the soul. In order to attain success in your thoughts, continue to fly with the power of the soul. And you know that in the scriptures, Hanuman is shown to be flying. And Hanuman is depicted as somebody who earlier did not know he could fly. And then he was reminded that you have this capacity. And then with that new awareness, he started flying. And he not only flew, he could finish the whole of Lanka, free Sita, he could do so much. So Baba says, in order to break these cycles and patterns, and you need to harness your soul power. The soul is very powerful. You're very powerful. If you want to do something, you can. Yes, but you have to have Dridhta ki Shakti, the power of determination. And that comes through realization that you are so powerful. So, just sit in the awareness of your spiritual power. Just think about the fact that you're just a point, but you're eternal, imperishable. You're beyond effect of gain and loss, birth and death, yes, victory and defeat. Just look at your spiritual power. And this is your mind and your buddhi and your time and your life. Why can't you make a decision and change it? So harness your soul power. And when you do that, you will be able to break these patterns. And if you keep saying, this is my habit, I have been into this habit, I don't know how to do it, you are feeding your weaknesses with your weak thoughts. How will you overcome them? So you have to understand that this is not the time to waste time. And Baba says, if you want to change from a shell to a diamond, this is the only time, and you need to become aware of your patterns of waste thought and wasting time and break them by realizing your spiritual power. And I tell you, from my own experience, even if it's a 63 birth habit, once you, the soul, make a decision, you can go with it. And I have changed my habits in 1 second. So it's not at all difficult. You want to change any habit, it only requires one decision and then repeating it every day. Yes, and for that also Baba has given us the formula. What is that? Keep watering your consciousness, with the water of remembrance. Keep reminding yourself. It's not like one day you just fill yourself with all these motivational thoughts that I am a soul, I'm a powerful soul, this and that, and then it fizzles out in some time. No, you keep watering it all the time. Who am I? What is my power? What is my virtue? Keep building on that awareness. And Baba says, break these patterns. Don't waste your time and thought. And what do you do with that time and thought? So Baba says, remember me and do seva. Yes, there are so many people in the world you meet every day, you come into their connection, you nurture them with the power of knowledge. Give knowledge to everybody in whatever pattern they are ready to accept it. So, so you are always having a conversation, meeting people, being in company. So tell them something which is powerful, purposeful, productive. It should help them, and then slowly, gradually, when the soul is filled with a little power, they will agree to undertake the course and move further. So Baba says, keep doing seva. Keep remembering me. And then Baba today says, don't waste your money also. Because right now the money you have can be used to change humans to deities. Yes, do you understand the importance of a hospital in the time of a COVID outbreak? Yes. Do you understand the importance of a center in this time where there is so much of spiritual weakness? So Baba says, use that money to build a center, sustain a center. So we are all taking nourishment from a center, is it not? So use that money to uplift that center. And Baba says, when you do that, do you understand that every penny you invest right now is going to give you, multifold return? Because there will be a time when, from one place or one Baba's home, there'll be queues and queues of souls being served. And Baba today says, even if you earn millions, trillions, billions, if you don't use it for seva, it's all going to waste. And just this morning when I was coming, I saw that there was this person who had parked his big car, I don't know, BMW or Mercedes, or so he had parked it outside his house, and then somebody had damaged the car in the night. And then that person was, he knew that whatever is the damage is going to cost him some 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs or something. And then he was very worried. So, all the money is going like this. Just think about it. 30 lakhs gone to dust. Another day there was one woman who was telling me that, Didi, I kept some 23 lakhs in the cupboard and it is not there. Somebody stole it. There were workers in the house and it was stolen. So do you understand that everything is going to dust anyway? And do you understand that every penny that you use for seva is creating a fortune? But then it requires sensibility and fortune to create fortune. So Baba says, this is not the time to waste time, this is not the time to waste money. And anything that you don't use in seva will ultimately be wasted. This is time of wastage. What else will happen to that? Yes. So Baba says this today. And then I like some bits of the Murli which appeal to my self-progress. Today Baba says, become virtuous, imbibe divine virtues and do seva. Now, divine virtues, how do I imbibe divine virtues? So Baba says, leave your vices and imbibe divine virtues. So I'll just give you an example which will help you to think on these lines. Let's take the virtue of fearlessness. Okay? Now you see, we all have fear. right? But we want to be fearless. Now, there is no suction pump through which you can drive out that fear, right? So, what do? For every thought of fear, you take a step of courage. Yes, you have so many fears. You have fear of society, you have fear of, loss, you have fear of future. So every time there is a fear, there is a thought of fear, you take a step of courage, take a thought of courage and overcome that fear. And how do you take that step of courage? By knowing that Baba is with you, by knowing that drama is your friend, by knowing that you are a victorious soul. So use the Swaman that Baba gives you and take a step of courage. And when you do that, you will know that your fears are not actual. Your fears are psychological. They are only in the mind, stopping you from taking that step of courage. Do you understand? Yes, so do you have the fear of what will people say? Let's say you are invited to a party and then you don't want to eat there because Baba says pure food. And then you have the fear that if I tell them, they will feel bad. So what do? You tell them. And then they don't feel bad. Only you feel bad. Yes, so I remember when I came into Gyan and I started wearing white and not sari but just white dress. And then I started practicing purity of food. Then there was somebody in the immediate Lokik family. They invited me for some ceremony, and then they told me you have to come. So I said I will come, but I won't eat, and I will wear white. So they said we and if I say we wouldn't like that, so I said then I won't come. It's that simple. So if I come, this is how I come, otherwise I don't come. And then they said, okay, you do as you wish, please come. So then I went and it was all fine. So every fear is in your mind. Every fear is in your mind. Yes. So all fears, so just and there are some fears like jumping off a wall or jumping off from the roof of the house. That fear you should have. You will fall and break your leg. So don't say Baba said this, so I showed courage. So you must also know which fears are real and which fears are psychological. So these psychological fears you overcome by taking a step of courage. And then slowly, when you start doing this, your virtue becomes fearlessness. Then you are a fearless soul. So slowly, gradually, you have to imbibe virtues and do away with vices. Let's take purity. Yes, so you have to, with this awareness of your purity in your, Adi and Anadi stage. I am a pure soul in the soul world. I am a pure soul in Satyug. My father is the ocean of purity. Churn this and take a decision that this, I don't have to engage in any impurity of body, mind and wealth from today. Yes, and then when you are able to uphold it, you know that purity is your original nature. And then your heart says you are a pure soul. So these virtues have to be inculcated, they have to be reared and cultivated with a lot of care and love and attention and planning. You don't become virtuous by thinking of becoming virtuous. It needs cultivation, just like, it's very easy for weeds to grow in a barren, in a empty field. But you want to cultivate flowers, it takes, strategy, and it needs a concerted effort. So cultivation of virtues needs effort. And the time to sow the seeds for virtues is Amrit Vela. So you have to plow the land of your mind and lay the seeds of soul consciousness for the flowers of virtues to grow during the day. So this is how you do it. And then Baba today says that we are living in bondage. So Baba says, all are living lives of bondage, and the Father comes and liberates everyone from the bondage of Ravan. Now, I was thinking about this bondage today, and primarily, the bondage comes from this sense of I and mine. So you are bound by I and mine. So you see, the drama is, Baba has given us the knowledge that the drama is Kalyankari. The drama is designed to bring benefit to you. But then, even when the drama is Kalyankari, we experience emotions of loss, pain, sorrow, hurt. Why? Because we are caught up in I and mine. Yes? We are actually not interested in benefit and loss. We are interested in benefit according to my idea and loss according to my idea. Are we not? Yes? Are we not, or are we? Yes, so that's the issue. The issue is not whether I gained or I lost. The issue is whether my ego was fed or not. Yes, so we are caught up in I and mine, and that's why we are in bondage. So you look at every time when your opinion is not, respected, or when what you consider as yours and what you consider as something that should obey the way you want it to behave, that doesn't follow your orders, then you experience pain, sorrow, hurt, everything. You experience insult, you experience loss. But then ultimately, if you see, everything is getting better. You belong to Baba, you are earning the inheritance of Satyug, you're making self-progress. But then those feelings, they keep coming and going because there is this consciousness of I and mine. Yes? Let's take one example. Let's say your child, you ask them to do something your way, and then they tell you, Papa or Mummy, you don't know anything. And then they do it their way, and then they succeed. And there is benefit for everybody. Still you feel hurt. Because it's not about benefit and loss, it's about benefit according to my idea and loss according to my idea. It's always like this. So Baba says, you are in bondage of this I and mine. Otherwise, every scene of the drama is accurate and it is ultimately bringing benefit. But then you are not interested in the benefit per se, but you are interested in, your benefit which comes through this consciousness of I and mine. So when that mirage is shattered, so when your I gets hurt, your mind gets hurt, then you feel bad. But there is no I and no mine in reality. So I is a soul and mine is Baba. That's the reality. But until you get there, you will always suffer, feel pain, insult, loss, everything, because you're caught up in this I and mine. And this is why Baba asks us to practice I, the soul, and mine, one Baba and none other. Okay, Om Shanti.